Shu Kai and Ding Yondai. A decade of acting, growth and change. Shu Kai's latest Arena Homme Plus interview offers a thoughtful look at an actor entering the next stage of a 10-year career. Rather than focusing only on achievements, the conversation explores how he approaches acting, handles difficult emotions, and maintains a clear separation between his professional and personal life. The interview arrives at a busy point in Shu Kai's career. In 2026, his work spans several different areas, including a realistic drama, a historical political drama, and the 8th season of The Great Escape. The projects are very different, but together they reflect a career built around continued exploration. One of the central themes of the interview is what Arena Homme Plus calls clear boundaries. Away from the set, Shu Kai prefers a relatively simple lifestyle. He spends time with family, runs, hikes, works out, and enjoys ordinary moments around the city. When difficult emotions appear, he prefers to process them quietly. Spending time alone, exercising, walking or riding his skateboard can help him regain balance. That approach also influences the way he works during filming. Shu Kai says he completely immerses himself in a character. Once production ends, however, he lets the character go and returns to his own life. This separation allows him to give himself fully to each story without allowing the role to define his personal identity. That philosophy becomes particularly interesting when looking at his recent acting choices. One important example is Chen Hui in 800. The character represents a very different direction from the elegant historical roles many viewers have associated with Shu Kai. Chen Hui is described as a young man living in the grey areas of human nature, requiring a more grounded and realistic approach. To prepare for the role, Shu Kai observed ordinary people and collected details from real life that could make Chen Hui feel authentic. The emotional scenes involving Chen Hui and his father became some of the most challenging moments of the production. Working with veteran actor Ding Yondai also brought considerable pressure. For Shu Kai, however, that pressure eventually became part of the reward. He particularly remembers the confrontation scenes and the emotional sequence by the coal washing pool. These moments remained with him even after filming ended. The audience's positive response to Chen Hui also became an important milestone in Shu Kai's effort to explore more diverse characters. The contrast between Shu Kai and Ding Yondai is especially meaningful within this story. Working alongside an experienced veteran actor placed additional pressure on Shu Kai, but it also gave him an opportunity to learn through demanding emotional scenes. The supplied interview information does not suggest that the experience was easy. Instead, it presents the pressure and the reward as two sides of the same experience. That makes Chen Hui an important part of Shu Kai's 10-year development. Another major role mentioned in the interview is Shen Run in Spring of the Blade. Once again, Shu Kai faced a completely different challenge. His preparation began with psychological work. After developing an understanding of the character, he created smaller performance details based on his own interpretation. Some of those ideas were later embraced by the director. For Shu Kai, appearance is only part of building a character. Costumes and styling can establish a character's presence, but the emotional world underneath the surface is what gives the role lasting impact. That idea reflects a broader change in the way Shu Kai appears to approach acting. Over 10 years, his career has moved through historical dramas, modern stories, suspense projects, and variety entertainment. Each format has required something different from him. The second chapter of the Arena Homme Plus interview is titled Time Settled, a fitting description for a career shaped by gradual accumulation. Shu Kai does not describe the past decade as a perfectly smooth journey. Creative burnout was also part of the experience. When his motivation faded, he chose to challenge himself with emotionally demanding scenes. Those performances helped him reconnect with the passion that originally brought him to acting. This is one of the more revealing parts of his reflection, because it shows that professional growth does not always happen during the easiest periods. Sometimes, a difficult period can force an actor to search for a new source of motivation. Another major influence has been The Great Escape. The program has reached its 8th season, and Shu Kai's experience on the show has helped him develop in a different way from scripted acting. His fear of escape rooms was genuine. Over time, however, that fear became confidence. The show also gave him an environment where he became increasingly comfortable showing natural reactions, humor, and vulnerability. That is a different kind of performance from acting in a drama. In a scripted role, Shu Kai enters another person's world. On The Great Escape, the audience can see more spontaneous reactions from him. Years of working with the cast have also created a strong sense of familiarity. Shu Kai describes the group as being like a family, and says they sometimes understand each other without needing to speak. For an actor reflecting on 10 years in the industry, that kind of long-term relationship is another important part of the journey. The interview also reveals a lighter side of Shu Kai. Outside the more serious discussion of acting and personal balance, he talks about traveling and experiencing new places. He also expresses an interest in learning to sing. The interest in singing should not be interpreted as confirmation of a future music project. The supplied information does not confirm performance, soundtrack, or release. Still, the detail adds another layer to the conversation. It shows an actor who remains curious about experiences beyond his established professional routine. Looking at the interview as a whole, one consistent theme emerges. Shu Kai's growth appears to be based less on dramatic reinvention and more on steady accumulation. A new character brings a new challenge, a difficult scene becomes another learning experience, a different genre requires another approach, fear becomes confidence. Creative fatigue becomes an opportunity to reconnect with his motivation, and everyday life provides the space to return to himself after the cameras stop. That may be the most interesting aspect of the 10th anniversary reflection. Shu Kai is not presented as someone trying to leave his previous career behind. Instead, he seems to view each stage as part of a continuing journey. His answer about reaching the 10-year milestone is similarly straightforward. His attitude toward work will not change. He wants to continue doing his best, bring good work to the audience, and earn their recognition. There is no need to turn that statement into a prediction about what will happen next. For now, the confirmed picture is enough. Shu Kai is continuing to work across different genres and formats. His recent roles show an interest in expanding beyond familiar character types. His experience with Ding Yondai during 800 became a demanding but rewarding part of that process. His work on The Great Escape has allowed another side of his personality to emerge. And away from work, he continues to value family, exercise, travel, and ordinary experiences. According to the information currently available, the next chapter of Shu Kai's career remains open. There may be new roles, new challenges, and perhaps new interests such as singing, but those developments should only be treated as confirmed once official information becomes available. After 10 years, the strongest message from this interview is not that Shu Kai has reached a final destination. It is that he continues to move forward. He enters each role deeply, steps away when the work is finished, learns from difficult experiences, and keeps looking for new ways to grow. For an actor reflecting on a decade in the industry, that quiet consistency may be just as significant as any single milestone.